Hey everybody, we're working on a 2011 Honda Accord today, and we're replacing the steering knuckle and the CV drive axle. All right, so we got the wheel off. You're gonna have to take off the brakes and everything. Now we're doing the brakes as well with this, so we're not even gonna worry about taking this off, but the CV axle is held on right through here. This thing is dinged in. Take a screwdriver, and basically you're gonna have to kind of beat on it a little bit and just beat that out so it's round and you can undo this. Then you're gonna take off the caliper. There's two bolts that hold that on. Then you're gonna take off the piece that holds the caliper on. There's two bolts, 1 and 2. And then you're gonna need to get this brake line out of the way. There's a screw right here or bolt right here that holds that to the knuckle. We're gonna have to undo that because we're replacing the knuckle. There's one bolt up here that holds the knuckle. There's one with the steering arm. And these have cotter pins, so you got to kind of straighten those out and pull them out. And then there's one right down here. We're going to have to get that one too. Again, cotter pin holding that in. Once we get the steering knuckle out, then we got to get the CV axle. So there is a bolt that holds right here, this Y to the bottom of the strut. You got to take that one. That keeps it from twisting. And then there's a bolt right down here. This goes all the way through, so you're gonna have to need a wrench on both sides. We're gonna take that out. Then this Y comes right out. Then we pry out the CV axle, and actually it's a good thing we're replacing it because that rubber boot's looking pretty bad. So we got a deal on the knuckle and the CV axles. Great deal. Actually, it was 350 bucks for everything. And the knuckle includes a new bearing. So we needed a wheel bearing, so I did both sides. This is 350 bucks for both sides, actually, so it was a great deal. A lot of work, but I did the first one yesterday. This is the second one today. I would say give yourself 3-4 hours a piece if you've never done it. This one hopefully will go quicker. All right, we got the caliper piston back in. It was out in here, so you could just take a channel locks and kind of squeeze this thing back in. Maybe throw a little WD-40 on there, but you want to keep that rubber boot intact there. So, all right, we got that done. We got that caliper bolt undone from the knuckle. That's a 12 millimeter, so we're gonna keep going here. All right, the caliper bracket's off. Actually, look at that. Good thing we're changing these brakes at the same time. Those were down to about nothing. But that caliper bracket comes off with a 17 millimeter. We got the caliper kind of hanging here because you do not want to put a bunch of tension on that brake line. So we got it hanging here, so it's kind of out of the way so we can work. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is take off this nut right here that holds the CV axle and all of this together. This is 36 millimeter. You might need someone to step on the brakes while you do this. We're gonna use an air ratchet. Hopefully it'll come off pretty easy. All right, now these cotter pins, one's gonna be bent up, one's gonna be bent down. Use a needle nose or regular pliers. Actually looks like this one's gonna come out nice and easy. We did put some PB Blaster on here, so it's always good because if they don't come out, and I had to yesterday, this doesn't come out, you're gonna have to drill it out, which really sucks. That wastes a lot of time. So, all right, next two, we're getting them going. All right, fortunately for me, all the cotter pins came out. So this top one, this is a 17 millimeter. The one on the steering column here, the steering arm, that's a 19 millimeter. And the one right down here is also a 19. If you can use an air ratchet, it's makes it much easier. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna get this knuckle off. Actually, the first thing we're gonna do is, see you got an ABS sensor here. We're gonna take this bolt off right here. We're gonna take this one off, and we're gonna unattach it right here so it comes out with the arm. And then I ordered new ones already because yesterday it didn't come out right. So if this comes out, I'll save it. If not, I got a new one on order. So I'm gonna undo this so everything comes out with the steering knuckle here. All right, another thing I want to mention here is once you get this bolt loose, you can wrap on this and you'll be lucky if this pops, but I put some PB Blaster on that, and you're gonna, I think it's called a Gilman arm puller. Basically, you're gonna put tension up onto that bolt. I leave the bolt on just so that it doesn't slip, and it basically pries down on this, up on that to separate this piece. So all right, there it is. So I got it to pop. It feels like you're putting a ton of pressure on this, and you kind of are, but it pops. So nicely done. I don't think that was coming by wrapping on this piece. So good thing we have the arm puller. We'll get the rest done, and this knuckle is about done out of here. All right, we got this done here, and this knuckles out. Normally, we want to make sure this drive axle's loose. I'm gonna pound on this right here to make sure that's back in. Now, we're replacing, see? That's nice and loose, so that's good. Normally, I would suggest do not pound on the drive axle if you're not replacing it. I'm replacing it, so it doesn't really matter here. So let's get this out. We're gonna get this knuckle off. Basically, all the bolts are loose. We just have to lift it right off there. Then we're gonna get the drive axle out. Alrighty, the knuckle's off, and here's the problem right here. This drive axle will not fit through this Y, mainly probably because of this stabilizer bar here. So we're just gonna go ahead and take this Y off. This is a 14 millimeter bolt right here, and this is a 17 right down here. So we're gonna need to get on both sides of this. So I have an air ratchet on one side and just hold it steady on the other. And we're gonna take this off. This actually, once the bolts are out, you're gonna twist it a little bit, it comes right off. Real easy, then the drive axle comes out, no problem whatsoever. There we go, all back together, and that is how it's done. New knuckle, CV axle, all finished up. New brakes and rotors as well. She's gonna be happy. Whole new front end to this car. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Click that thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hope this helps you out in any way whatsoever, some way whatsoever. Enjoy fixing shit at home.